3 4-star characters, not 1 or 2, but we've got a whole roster of 4 stars from Liyue. Pretty generous from MiHoYo, though it is the New Year's Lantern Ride event from China, plus the rewards were similar to how it was last year, which makes the event one of the best for free-to-play players all year around. While having one good rewards event once per year is better than nothing, right guys? Now, since you've only got one to pick from all these 8 characters, it's actually going to be quite a significant decision, especially if you're a free-to-play player, because Liyue's 4-star character list is really insane. You've already got 3 out of 4 characters from the national team, plus Beidou, who's actually one of the strongest characters in the game, and other DPS characters as well. So in this video, I'll go through each character's overview with their best constellations, because 4-star characters is more about constellation than getting the character themselves, as I'm sure many of you already have gotten most of these characters already. So with that, let's jump into the video. First, let's have a look at these characters and their best constellations. We've got Xiangling, a core member of the national team, lowly no less than a 5-star character, guys, due to her absolute insane off-field damage support from her burst. Especially for a free-to-play player, you will always find her useful across any team that you're running. All of you should already have at least one Xiangling because she was given for free during the Abyss event. For Xiangling, her best constellation is going to be C4, that gives her burst a 40% duration increase, or in other words, a 14th second uptime, which is really good because Xiangling focuses on her having her burst up for the team. D6 is also super good, however it's only for pyro focused teams and burst damage from her own, so getting up to C4 is your goal with Xiangling. Xingqiu is another member of the national team who can be really reliable source of hydro reactions thanks to his elemental burst ability, while providing useful damage reduction and healing your party members. Even though he seems to be only a support character that provide hydro application, if you focus on leveling up his burst, the off-field damage you get from each sword rain is incredibly good, especially the fact that Xingqiu gets a 20% hydro damage bonus from his second passive. For Xingqiu, you absolutely want to have him at C2, as that is his most important constellation, because you get an extra rain sword from C1, and C2 gives him an extra 3 seconds during his burst, meaning you have an 18-second burst uptime while the cooldown duration is only 20 seconds, which is why C2 is really important for Xingqiu. Next, we have Chongyun, our 3rd member of the national team. He is best suited as a sub DPS role, and his E skill has the ability to convert sword, polearm, and claymore attack into cryo, which is really good if you're running another cryo damage dealer or having him as DPS, as well as if you want more consistent melt or freeze gameplay. He can also spam his burst since it's only a 40% energy, hence why he has his position in the national team. However, his usage has declined a bit due to the introduction of many other cryo characters at this point, but he can still be a really good cryo character. His constellation don't really have anything too fancy. Best one is at C2, which gives whoever casts E skills or bursts within his frost field have a 15% cooldown reduction. Can be useful at times but not too needed, and the rest of his cons are just focusing on making him a DPS, which is if you want, you can focus on that. Next, we have Beidou, who is such an amazing electro sub DPS and is someone who's very underrated. Her E skill has huge damage multiplier, and with little investment you can already deal a lot of damage. Her burst is also really good with electro application, giving you damage reduction as well as the amount of damage it dishes out. It also have a 15 duration uptime, which is rather long. However, she isn't being used that often, mostly due to the fact that she is a character that takes a bit of practice to make the most out of. In order to deal the most damage out of her E skills, you need to time it correctly, plus her burst requirement is 80, which is on the higher end, while her E skill doesn't really generate that much particles, so it's really hard for for her to keep her burst up. But for those of you who enjoys playing her, she is definitely an insane character and you guys know it. For Beidou to pull out her best potential, she would require you to be at C6, which does take a bit of time to take her to work. If not, then her C2 is already super good, as her C1 gives you a bit of shield and C2 will help her burst deal more damage and electro application from her burst now being able to jump to additional targets. Plus you already got a free Beidou from the past event if you've played it, of course, so getting her to C2 should be easier. Next we have Ningguang. She's a pure Geo DPS character that gives a bit of support to Geo team at second passive by providing a 12% Geo damage bonus to whoever passes her J screen. She will be more of a character that you enjoy playing than meta wise, as there are many DPS options for you to run at this point. For Ningguang, her most important cons will be C1 because it gives her attack AoE damage, which is the most important that a DPS needs. Any other cons will just be extra for Ningguang. And then there's Yanfei. She is an amazing pyro DPS character who draws the most of her strength from Scarlet Seals, a resource summoned through her normal attack that increases the damage of her charge attack. A very solid pyro DPS if you're lacking a pyro character. However, her greatest issue is from stamina management, since most of her damage output is done through charge attack, which consumes a lot of stamina. Therefore, her most important constellation is C1, which gives every Scarlet Seals another 10% stamina reduction. You will see a huge difference in Yanfei's performance from C0 to C1, guys. And then we have Xinyan. Poor her, only a few people actually use this character. She does have access to pyro shield, though it's not too sustainable. Her burst does give you some pyro application, but since Xiangling is able to do that and better, people just don't normally spare a slot for her on the team. But if you're someone who's gonna get her, then her C4 is going to be her best constellation, as she gives a 15% physical resistance decrease from her E skill, which gives physical damage dealer on your team a boost. And then we got our brand new character Yunjin. At this point in time, there's no official information on her yet, but we do know that she's going to be a Geo character that focuses on supporting your team attack through her defense stat, which is going to be pretty viable, as any character that has support role and provide your team attack increase will find a place on different players' team. Again, there's no official information yet. However, if her, quote unquote leak info are true, then I would say her C2 is going to be her most important due to her providing your team a 15% attack increase for 12 seconds after her E skill. So we'll have to wait until her officially information arrives to know the full details. And so we've just went through the overview of all the characters. Now I want to give you my own personal recommendation on which character you should prioritize. Again, this is going to be my personal opinion, so it's going to be your choice to follow or not. Top priorities would be either Xiangling or Xingqiu. As we've known, Xiangling's best constellation is C4, so if you haven't got her to that point, I say try to get her first. And then Xingqiu, his best cons is at C2. Even if it's only C1 that you're getting, it's already given him a huge boost to his kit. Next, I would say you go for Yunjin, as she's the newest character, and I'm assuming many of you have already had many of the other characters, so you're only missing on Yunjin at this point. This is also good for those who want to skip Shenhe's banner and save for other reruns or some of the other new characters that's going to be coming. Next, you can go for Ningguang, as she's getting a free skin during the Lantern Ride, so if you haven't got her, then it's a good chance for you to enjoy her new outfit. Or her top constellation requirement is only at C1, so you can make her more viable if you already have her. After those options, you can consider either Beidou, Yanfei or Chongyun. These characters are more player preferences, and out of these, I would recommend you to get Beidou's cons, because the more cons she has, the more OP she's going to become, and the more support you'll be able to get from her, especially if you're running an Electro team. And then finally, we have Xinyan. If you've already have all the other characters at C6, then you can go for it at this point. So I'm really glad to see that we're getting at least some decent reward for free-to-play players during the New Year event. I hope the video have been of help with you guys, helping you make a better decision for your account. Either way, we still have like over a month before the event arrives, so take your time to make a good decision. Now, I do understand that 2.4 is going to be a pretty expensive expensive patch, especially for free-to-play players with triple reruns. So if you're wondering about how many primo gems you'll be getting in the patch, I'll be uploading a video next speculating how much primo gems you'll be getting in patch 2.4, so be sure to subscribe to the channel to not miss out. In the meantime guys, if you're having trouble choosing a 5-star character to go for in the upcoming patch, then I have a video helping you on this and I'm sure you will find it helpful. With that guys, I hope you have a super day and I will see you on the next one.